This is the Sisterhood Society podcast, where three sisters talk life, food, fashion, kids, and everything in between. Become part of our sisterhood where everyone is welcome at our table. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Sisterhood Society podcast. We are so excited to do another episode with you guys. So we're just going to hop right in and get started. So we always start every single episode with what's good in our life, just because there's so much trash all over the world. We want to make sure that we talk about what's good in our lives. So much negativity everywhere. So starting with Tara, what's good?
Well, Briggs has started doing animal sounds, and it's one of my favorite things. And he also now says something that sounds like love you, even though I don't think that's what he's trying to say. But we were at Walmart on Sunday, and he was waving to the customer service people and kept saying, "Goodbye, love you. Goodbye, love you." And they weren't responding. And so he kept getting louder and louder, screaming as we're walking away. "Goodbye, love you." And he's like waving his hands and they're not paying attention. So anyway, that's one of my new favorite tricks out of him. That gives me lots of joy.
Okay, so my something good is I met with my grandma friend on Saturday again. I brought her some cinnamon bread from Grandma Tilly's recipe, and we sat and we chatted for 4.5 hours. I didn't leave.
4.5? Do you have like a sore throat?
Shockingly, no. Your conversations are just like slow and thoughtful, and you're not like chatting a mile a minute like you are with, I don't know, like the morning toast people, like how they chat really, really quickly. You just kind of, process things.
Saunter.
Yeah, it's actually very relaxing. I love it. I love hanging out with her. It's always such, like, literally it's one of the things that brings me joy. And it had been like a few months, my bad. I should have scheduled that once a month, but it had been like 2 months since I had seen her.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so super fun.
This is like good news and bad, but I get air conditioning back tomorrow. So I'm sitting in a house that's 86 degrees right now. And
long sleeves on.
No, I'm not.
Oh, it looks like you had long sleeves on.
Oh, no, I'm just wearing a big t-shirt. My air conditioning went out on the July 21st. So it's been almost exactly 2 weeks. And to the point where it was so broken, we're getting a completely new unit. So we've been staying at my parents', which staying at our parents' is like a great little vacation. It's not like it's an inconvenience to stay there. It's more just the fact that like I miss having my stuff. You know what I mean? Like I haven't slept in my own bed in a really long time, and I refuse to sleep here when it's that hot. So anyways, I'm very excited to get air back and run it as cold as possible. It'll be like 62 in here tomorrow. So that's
icicles will be hanging from your nose.
Yes. I want to be shivering everywhere I walk in my house tomorrow.
It's like baffling to me that you have literally a brand new house. It's not even 2 years old, and your air conditioning unit breaks down. Like what? And that's not even the first issue you've had with that. They
said it was like a freak accident, that this like never happens. They're like the compressor or the condenser. I don't know which one it is. It's one of those things. They're like, that literally never happens. And that's why they don't keep like it's not like I'm just getting like a part fix. I'm getting a brand new air conditioning unit. So that's why they don't keep them on hand. So that's why they had to order it and why it's taken so long. Anyways, it's been a whole charade of comedy of errors, but we have some exciting news on this episode, because this episode is actually brought to you by our first sponsor. So we want to talk to you guys a little bit today about our first sponsor, which is Mixers. And I actually brought mine for the YouTube the YouTube viewers, you're not customers, to see them in person. So if you guys aren't watching on YouTube, you can get a full visual. They look like this. And Mixers is actually a supplement made for women by women that all three of us actually use and have used now for like a straight year. They come in these stick-like packets, which make them really easy for travel. And they have a supplement or a mixer for pretty much every category under the sun. So just to give you guys like a little like overview of the company, they started essentially for women's hormone support. The owner of Mixers was actually pregnant with twins, and I think struggled with some like postpartum symptoms that she was like not feeling like herself. And so she partnered with a holistic doctor to come up with a formula of hormone support of vitamins and minerals that she felt like her body was missing to help women feel normal around their cycle and around pregnancy, etc. So she made the first mixer, which was Her Time, which is all about like hormone support around your period and after your period. So you actually take a certain mixer during the length of your cycle and then one that's the rest of the month. And essentially it helps support your endocrine system, helps to alleviate symptoms of your period like bloating, fatigue, excess bleeding,
irritability.
Irritability, mood swings, cramps, etc. So when your endocrine system is healthy, you don't usually have as bad of symptoms of your cycle. So anyways, I personally use Her Time, Her Greens, Her Power, and the one Tara swears by, which is Her Defense. This is immune support and also helps with migraines and UTIs, which is pretty important. We do have a code.
Kids, it's a must. I mean, I've been using Her Defense now for probably close to a year, and my subscription got messed up, and so I haven't had it for like a week, and I've noticed I started getting headaches again. So it is literally a lifesaver. Yes. I mean, the kids bring home anything and everything from, school and church. Yeah. And I barely had a sniffle since I have started taking it. So I swear by it all the time. I've actually started to try to get the kids to drink it, which they don't really love the taste of it, which is funny because it's really like, I mean, it just tastes like orange, but right. But it's been great for Brian and I to have to just, for immune support, especially with the kids constantly trying to give you a cold.
Okay, hang on. We can cut this out, but Phil just texted me and said the AC guy just called and said they don't make our unit anymore.
Does that mean it's not coming tomorrow?
He said I couldn't stay on the phone with him because I had to go back to tracking, so I have to call him back.
Do you want to do a different what's good?
Probably. I'm scared. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean they can't get a different one, but that means why wouldn't he have known that before today? Because he was supposed to have delivered it tomorrow.
Yeah, that seems fishy.
I don't know. Anyways, okay, I need to tell them our code. So each week we'll focus on a different mixer just to introduce you guys to the products and what they do. But if you would like to use our code, the code is ROYAL at checkout, and it's all caps. That will give you 10% off your order. And that code is active all the time. So you guys can use that at any time. And let us know what you think of them. I feel like I do actually see a difference when I'm using them and when I'm not. And especially with Her Defense, like I can tell when we're not using Her Defense and like instantly get sick. So anyways, we're very excited to bring that code to you guys from the podcast. Okay, so we're diving in today into just some fun, silly random questions. How random are we talking?
They're not that random. I felt like
they're interesting,
like conversation starters.
Yeah, they're actually. She read them up. She was like, "Let's do random questions." I'm like, I feel like we've been there, done that, But then she read off the questions, and I was like, actually, these might be fun to answer because I'm kind of curious what you guys' answers will be.
Okay. So one of them was, if you were to go back to college, would you get a different degree than you got?
Well, I graduated with a painting degree. So yes, I would go back and get a graphic design degree because that's what I am now.
Would you change anything with yours, Kate?
I don't think I would. I mean, I don't really I do actually use my degree. I was going to say I don't use the main major course that I took for my degree was fashion merchandising. And I feel like because I don't do any accounting, that like that I don't really use any of that. And I don't use spreadsheets. So yeah.
Would you change yours?
This is going to be my little rant on college. I don't think that there's anything I learned in college that has helped me outside of learning how to use an Excel spreadsheet. So wow. I don't think that, because a business degree is so broad that the stuff that the like the philosophies that you learn are going to vary from company to company, because every company is going to teach you what their process is. So it's not like you're going to go and be like, oh, I learned this in school. Not really. You're learning like concepts.
Yeah.
And
it's almost like you have to go for a master's to get it more like niche down.
Yeah.
And that's actually, they kind of pushed that when I was in art school. They're like, you need to go get your master's. I was like, a master's in art? Like, what am I going to do with that?
Yeah. So I mean, so yes, I probably would still go back and get it in business, but I don't necessarily feel like that has propelled me forward into what I'm doing, because every place that I've worked has just taught me like how they do business. So, okay. If you could do your wedding over, is there anything, what would you change about it? I know Whitney would change a lot.
Okay. So my wedding was like pink and orange. If anybody knows me, you know that I hate color. Like, not hate it, but like I don't wear color. I'm a neutrals girly. It started because you and I got engaged and our weddings were like 2 months apart, and you're like, let's share tablecloths. And you wanted pink and green, and I was like, okay, I'll go for it. So we had these like baby pink tablecloths that I had to work around, and it's just not me. My wedding is not
your wedding was like really shabby chic, and those stupid burlap sack seat coverings have still haunted me. I feel like it's still in Tara's carpet. It's just like, I just remember we had to like tie bows into, not tie bow like the workout, but like tie bows from yarn into like the burlap.
We just stitch them into them.
I would change so much. First of all, I would make mine way more intimate and just like family. I mean, it's easy to say now, because when you first get engaged, you're like, I want to invite everyone.
Yeah.
But I would make it like way more intimate. I would make it in like a beautiful scenery, like a really
Would you
pretty
change your location?
Probably.
Okay. So like more intimate, like less people in a different location.
Yeah, and no color. Like, I'd have flowers be like the main. I will say I did like my flowers, but they were once again really, really colorful.
Yeah.
But, Kate, what about you?
I wouldn't change anything about the day or the ceremony or anything like that. I would have just taken off work earlier. Like, the fact that I took off like a day before the rehearsal dinner and was just like, great, like perfect. But it actually wasn't my fault. My job wouldn't let me. I was working at Nordstrom at the time, and it was up to them essentially how many days I was allowed to have off between the wedding and the honeymoon. I think our honeymoon was 8 full days, and I took off a day before the actual wedding. So it wasn't even a full 2 weeks of work, like maybe 10 days. And, I worked 17 days straight in a row before to be able to get those days off, because at Nordstrom, you don't have like real weekends because you work weekends. And we had just ended the anniversary sale. So I was just like so burnt out. And like, I remember getting to the honeymoon and being like, sweet, I packed all swimsuits and 2 dresses and like literally have nothing to wear. Like, I was just like, what did I pack? Like, it was so weird. And I was like super stressed out before we left because I hadn't organized anything. The day of our wedding, I couldn't find my wallet. And so after the wedding, we drove back to the house because I hadn't finished packing for the honeymoon, and Mom and Dad were at the house just hanging out. And Phil was so mad at me. And there was just a lot of things. Like, we had like $37 in our checking account. Like, I shit you not. And my grandma and our aunt had given us like cash for the wedding, and I was supposed to deposit them before. And this was before like the days of mobile deposit. And I didn't. And we were about to head to Maui to like a 5-star 5 diamond from our parents' timeshare that like was gifted to us. And we like had no business going there. And so like all the food is like $150 a meal. And we had like $37. Like, it was just like so ridiculous. We're so young when we got married. Anyways, I was supposed to deposit these checks and didn't. And it was a holiday weekend. So then the banks were closed on Monday, and it was like a whole thing. Phil ended up going to his parents and asking for their like money early, and was like, this is so embarrassing, but if you were gonna give me wedding money, can you give it to me now? He's like, and in cash, because and the funny thing is, like, I don't find myself to be like an overly irresponsible person, but I think back then my work was my life, and like I would never ever ever do that now. I have so much anxiety about packing for trips now. I like plan my outfits months in advance, and like when we went to Paris, I literally bought like a whole new wardrobe and had it packed a month early. Like it was just like so different, you know.
Yeah, I feel like you were pretty mentally tapped out.
Yeah,
the week of your wedding, but you had Tara. So
yeah,
we all did. We had Tara
planned my entire wedding, and I cried literally the entire day. Like I cried from like the time I woke up to like the time the reception started, and I think it was because I was so tired.
Yeah.
And I think like the emotion of it all just like hit me, and Dad couldn't stop crying. So then like I was just crying.
I mean,
Dad was crying.
I'm glad you let it out. I held it all in until I had a mental breakdown.
I just remember like Dad was being really sweet, and he was really sentimental because I was the baby, and he was just like sobbing like constantly. And I remember getting in the car on the way to the reception and I was like, I'm so sick of crying. I have such a headache. I just don't want to cry anymore. And Phil's like, so stop. I know I want to. I just don't know how. Like, you know, when you've cried so much, you almost can't stop. Like you just like keep like your emotions are just like all over the place. That's kind of how it was. And then anyways, and then Jeff told that story about us making out during the reception, and I was so embarrassed. And then I felt bad because I got mad at him when he sat back on the table, and I think I made him feel bad, and then I cried because I made him feel bad.
Oh no.
The whole thing. Anyways, so one, I would pack my bag earlier. I would take off earlier, and maybe I'd like, you know, get some therapy before I got married so I didn't cry the whole day. But from the like wedding overall, like it was the best. Like everything went amazing. Tara did such a good job. People were like, what do you think about your reception? Has it come together like the way you wanted? And I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to be as surprised as you are when we show up.
It's true. But yours turned out really rad. I like the way yours was.
It was really cute. I still like it. I don't like dislike anything we did.
That's funny.
Tara, would you change anything about yours?
I don't think so. I mean, I would maybe change the decor on the tables just because I don't know if I would do like the garden theme again but I loved everything about the weekend. Like I liked having everybody come out, so and I liked the fact that it was small. I loved the location that we had. I loved having it in Mom and Dad's backyard. I still love my cake. I would love to like go back to that bakery and get more. You know what would
have been nice is if the bridal party was able to eat your food, because I remember getting up there, she had us go last.
I don't know why.
And we were like, what the heck? There's no food left.
That's so
yeah,
strange.
the food did run out. I'm pretty sure like I only got one of the pastas, and it was like the only thing that was left.
Yeah, it was
like, I was like, I am the sister of the bride. Okay. Yeah. Like what?
We got some like lobster pasta or something, some fish one that we were like, I don't even like shrimp or fish or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyways.
Yeah. That was weird that they didn't have it, that the people that were managing the day didn't have that set up, like with who was going when. And we probably should have had extra food. What was weird is we had a lot of leftovers of certain things, but not necessarily like the main course pieces. It was just strange. But I liked I loved the day itself, or like the weekend itself was super fun. And I felt like I got to spend a lot of time with my individual bridal party, which I feel like a lot of times when I'm in weddings, that doesn't get to happen because you're running around so much. So I just felt like when I think back on the weekend, I feel like I got to really experience it. And even though it was so crazy and I did all the planning myself, I felt like I still was able to enjoy the whole weekend, which I feel like can be hard to do. So
I feel like the days, it's like Christmas. Like Christmas isn't as fun as like the days leading up to Christmas. It's kind of like that with a wedding. Not that your wedding day isn't fun, but I feel like like we just went to a wedding where he was talking about the best part of the wedding was like the prep week before, where they were like in Florida and doing stuff with family. And I was like, yeah, I honestly feel like the days where like us three, mom and Tammy, were just hanging out the house, like making pup chow and getting spray tans that didn't work.
Well, if you would actually put on the spray tan, it would work.
Our mom forgot to put on the activator at the spray tan place. And she gets in the car and she's like, so weird. Like, you guys all look tan and I feel like I don't look any different. And he's like, did you press the button? And she's like, what button? And we like died laughing. And Whit and Tammy both wore jeans. So they sat in my backseat pantsless trying to dry your spray tan.
I didn't want like jean lines in my legs.
It was so hot that day. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it was like 100 degrees.
It was hot.
I
The
just
whole week
remember
was hot.
sweating my balls off the entire time at your wedding.
It was
Well, the whole
really
weekend
warm.
was hot. Yeah.
It's if you were gonna play an Olympic sport, what would it be?
Oh shoot.
Oh, bobsledding for sure.
That
Like
would be your
cool,
sport?
cool running. Like just think about how fun that movie was. And like, I feel like that's actually kind of a dangerous sport, isn't it?
It can be if you're not.
If you don't know what you're doing.
Fall out of the bobsled.
Us three went and tried to bobsled,
You
we'd
can
for sure
definitely
die.
fly off the edge easily.
I would probably do gymnastics because I remember loving the gymnastics. And what was it, like the 1994 gymnastics or whatever, where it was like
Kim Zmuskal,
Shannon Miller. Yeah, like that
Carrie
whole team.
Strug.
Carrie
Strug.
I
Strug.
think it
When
was
she landed on her broken
It
ankle.
was so inspiring, guys. It was just like so inspiring.
I know that one. I loved it.
I
That
just
was a good
remember
one.
they would like play Chariots of Fire with that like clip of her breaking her ankle but landing that like land. Oh
It
my
is
gosh.
still incredible that she did that.
Yeah. Makes me
I think mine would be volleyball if I was going to play a sport.
Yeah, I guess if I was like logistically what I would actually be talented at, since I played volleyball growing up, that would have been a better answer. I said bobsledding. I was just thinking like what would be the most fun thing to do, and just like that just came to mind.
What is something that happened in childhood that still affects your adult life?
Oh my gosh, are we really opening this can of worms? I'm just kidding.
The porta potty for sure.
Just so many things. You know? Something that happened to us in childhood.
What's something that happened in childhood that's like, what's something that, yeah, like what have you taken from childhood into your adult life? It doesn't have to be traumatic.
Okay, you do yours first.
I don't have one off the top of my head. I was trying to think.
Oh, rude. Move
Mine
on to the
doesn't
next
have anything
question.
to do with my parents. It's just like experience, like nothing to do with the way we were raised. So I'll just get that out of the way so people don't think that we had like a traumatic childhood, because I didn't. It's more like experiences like getting stuck in an airplane bathroom that makes me terrified to pee in airplanes, like stuff like that. Or getting stuck in a porta potty. I'm claustrophobic, and I think it's because of those things. This is why I would never smoke weed, because I feel like I'd be stuck in my own body, and I feel like I'd feel trapped in my own body, and that's like the ultimate claustrophobia. Because I've had so many experiences where I've been stuck in elevators. I'm terrified of elevators, stuck in bathrooms, stuck in stalls, where like weird freak things happen where I got stuck in a small space, which made me claustrophobic. But nothing like, we had such an amazing and blessed like childhood, I think.
I feel like mom and dad did a really good job of making like the little moments special.
Yeah.
And so just even because I feel like it's really easy as a parent now to be like, no, it's not necessary to have somebody over. It's not necessary to do that or whatever. And mom was actually really lenient when it came to like letting me have a friend over or spending the night or throwing a, you know, slumber party or having, you know, 150 people over for a cookout. I mean, and so as I'm raising my own kids, I feel like I'm trying to like think back to my own childhood of like, what were the experiences that I remember sticking out and being fun to me or being something that I remember as being special. And just even like school shopping was always such like a fun thing for me to like go get new shoes or pick out a new backpack. Like I still remember being able to go to Von Mar and pick out an Esprit bag, and I was carrying that to school the first day. Like just like little things like that, that I'm trying to put myself back in the shoes of my kids at those ages and remember, like try to think back like what was something that was special for me that I can do the same for them. And so it's things like that, like whether it's come to Christmas or their birthdays or just even special times, like dad would take me out on date nights or things like that, that I wanted, be able to instill those memories in my own kids.
Yeah, I feel like from an overall childhood perspective, all three of us had really amazing childhoods. Like when I'm saying trauma, I'm talking about really stupid things. Like
I will say that I probably won't ever have a dog though, because of the lasting effects of of Sam on me. Because I literally had childhood anxiety because of that dumb dog.
Speaking of school backpacks, my first backpack ever was a clear acrylic backpack. First of all, how trendy of me. Second of all, I got it at Eagle, which is like Kroger's counterpart. And I remember being like so pumped about it. But in kindergarten, you do show and tell. And everyone always knew what I brought for show and tell. So it was like one of the worst choices when it came to backpacks.
No privacy whatsoever.
Yeah, there was no privacy. It really was so weird.
If you could change one feature of your spouse, what would it be?
Oh, this could get juicy.
I have an easy one. Mine would be Brian's little ears, because I feel like 90% of the arguments in our relationship stem from him not being able to hear me. And he claims it's because he has little ears. So I make his ears larger.
Is this like a personality trait or a physical trait?
Either one.
I would change. Oh, I was just going to say, I would change Isaac's toenails.
To what?
Nicely manicured. It's not that he doesn't keep them like nicely trimmed. It's just that his big toes, he used to wear enclosed shoes all the time. And so his big toes, he's had like ingrown toenails and he's had to like cut them up. I am totally putting him on blast. He's going to be like, what the heck? Why are you talking about my toenails? But yeah, I would change them for him because they've been such a pain for him. Like physically had to go in and get them like cut in half. Like,
oh
yeah,
that sounds awful.
So I would change those for him so that he wouldn't have pain anymore.
I like, this is gonna sound cheesy, that I don't really have anything I want to change other than, I can't tell if this is a me problem or if it's Phil, but Phil has like one tone and just like it's the same for everything. So I can't tell if he's like happy, mad, sad, annoyed. It's just like all the same. And so like I'm always asking, are you mad at me? No. Are you mad at me? No, I'm never mad at you. But then when I ask him if he's mad, it makes him mad. So then like it's unfortunate, this like cycle.
You would like him to use intonation in his voice.
Yeah. So I would we joked about how when he answers the phone, he's always like, hello? And it's never like, hi, babe. Like, or, like there's no.
Brian answers the phone with, yeah. And I'm like, seriously? Could you act any less excited to talk to me?
Right. So then like I jokingly for a while, I'd be like, let's hang up and try again. And then he'd be like, hi. And it'd be like super fake. And so like, I was like, okay, there needs to be like some middle ground of like, hello and hi. And then I was like, yeah, I'm like, sometimes when you get home and you've like been gone all day, like instead of walking in the house and being like, hey, I'm home, he'll just be like, what's up? Or like, I'll be like, hey, like there's just no like excitement. And so the last few times he's come home and I'm like sitting on the couch, he'll be like, hi, I'm back. And he's like trying really hard to like make it better. So he does like, we'll have these long conversations. He'll be like, okay, I'm going to work on it. I am going to work on my tone. But it's not because he's intentionally trying to be rude. It's just the fact that he's like a monotone type of person.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, like he could be like so excited about something and you'd have no idea. So it's just the way that he is. But with someone who has like very high highs and very low lows, like I just need a little, like just give me a little something. Like I am like the most enthusiastic person. So it's very different for me, I guess. But
would you rather sit next to someone on a plane that won't stop talking or someone who is hogging half your seat?
Hogging half my seat.
Really? I can't stand it when people hog like the armrest and like spill over into your seat.
But is that worse than someone sitting there and chatting your ear up for like a 3.5-hour flight?
If I don't mind the conversation, I think I would rather have a conversation than have someone sitting on top of me.
Oh my gosh, I cannot.
I also like there's like that like moment where you're like, my thigh has been touching this person's thigh, and you're like, is it
and my jeans are moist?
Yeah, like, is it my sweat or theirs? Like, I'm just not sure, and it's probably both. It's just disgusting.
It is. It's weird. It's just a
gross.
Weird feeling, and as a whole, when your thighs are touching and it's warm.
Yeah, I mean that's gross, but honestly, it would probably happen regardless because the seats are so small.
They are really tiny.
So I'm like,
I think
do I want that
smaller
and someone speaking to me the entire time?
But see, you don't have to have both. You can have the whole seat to yourself.
But realistically, it would be both, isn't it?
Why? Because the seats are so
small.
No, but in my hypothetical, you can either have the seat to yourself.
So we're talking like first class with someone who's chatting up my ear, or
you're back in a coach class. Yes, not business.
With someone all up in my grill.
Business. You're going to be back in coach.
What you have to do is you just get up to go to the bathroom, and usually the conversation doesn't like continue. When you go to the bathroom, put your AirPods in, you know, and then like, so we just beat the system
and then enjoy all the seat to yourself.
I feel like I would just choose to drive wherever I go. Just avoid it altogether.
Okay. What was your favorite movie as a kid? I know this one of Kate.
Oh, Kate has like a handful.
Chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
Chitty chitty bang bang, I love you.
Curly Sue.
Chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, I love you. And then there was Toot Sweet, Toot Sweet.
I got to a point where I ended up hiding that movie from her because I was like, I cannot stand watching this again and again and again because the guy who like steals the kids is so terrifying.
But you know what? You love a consistent queen, because I still do this. I still watch movies to the point where everyone hates it. I am a creature of habit, or like I get a favorite and I buy it in every color. I have a movie I watch. I watched Tommy Boy in high school, from junior high to high school, over 1,000 times.
You did? Yeah.
Over 1,000 times.
Kid?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if I had a choice because we always just watched what Kate wanted, which I was fine with until it got to the 1,000th time. And I was like, okay, let's move on to something else.
You know what we watched like an ungodly amount of times, which is like, honestly, like kind of concerning for our health. We watched The Sixth Sense on like Showtime. Or like we had like HBO for free in like elementary school, and we watched The Sixth Sense like every day for like a year. Do you remember that?
That was really weird. Why did we watch that?
I don't know. I love Bruce Willis, so that might be part of it. But
I didn't even like terrifying movies.
When I was really little, I liked one called Too Smart for Strangers. And anyways, we like mom and dad rented for us when we still lived in Indiana. And I remember when they moved back to the States, I tried to find it. And it wasn't nearly as exciting for us when we were like 9 versus when we were little. But it was all about how you should talk to strangers if you're getting kidnapped.
Oh my gosh. That's terrifying.
Too smart for strangers.
I used to watch Curly Sue, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. What were the other ones? Oh, The Sound of Music. Those are like the 3. We were honestly really innocent with what we watched when we were little. We used to watch Jesus movies a lot.
Yeah, we did.
What was your most memorable birthday?
Oh, I know. Whitney, do you remember when we used to get those books from American Girl Doll, and they had party planning ideas in them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I got one of those in the 3rd grade, and there was one like a luau theme. This is like Brecken reincarnated. And they had this idea of like cutting a pineapple in half and making it into like an ice cream bowl. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I made everyone wear like a skirt as soon as they came in. I like made everyone grass skirts. And we did it was like a whole Hawaiian theme. And I copied all the ideas. It's like Pinterest for kids. And this book. It was really cute. And then that was back when we still had sleepovers. Like, can you imagine Brecken having a party in the 3rd grade and hosting like 18 girls at your house? Mom did that for me. Like,
actually,
we used to do them together though for a while there because our birthdays were so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people don't do sleepovers anymore, which is for the best. You're always grouchy and tired, and
yeah.
lots of random stuff.
Did you guys have favorite birthdays?
I think there was one birthday where we went ice skating, and it was July. So we had to like drive to Peoria to an ice skating rink.
With you? With us?
Yeah. With me, just like with my close friends. I was older. I wasn't like,
I remember that.
I was probably like 11 or 11 ish.
Yeah.
Oh, before you moved to California.
Yeah.
Not like, okay. Mm-hmm. I think one of mine was when you guys threw me that surprise party. I think it was my 29th. And we ate at Biaggi's, and all my friends, I thought I was going to dinner with just you guys, and I walked in the room and like everybody I knew was there.
Did we plan that?
Wow.
Ash and Holly and you guys all did. I was already dating Brian at that point because he told me he was sick. We hadn't been dating that long, but he told me he was sick, and I was gonna like bring soup home for him, and then he was there at the restaurant.
That's cute.
But literally, like Grandma Tilly was there, and Kara was there, and like all my small group friends, and like you guys had thought of everybody. Like,
I'm pretty sure that was very much so Holly and Ash, because we weren't very good at party planning.
Well, I would have been 20 or 19 at the time.
Actually, so you two weren't even planning on going. You were asking me where we were going to dinner. I think I was just supposed to be going to dinner with Ash and Holly, and then I got there and you guys were all there. Like we were in on it.
We were just pretending like we weren't going to show up.
Correct. Yeah. Because you were texting me on the way there asking me like where I was going for dinner.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But that one was just special because literally like everybody I cared about was in the same room.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was us.
And I had no clue. Like I was genuinely surprised. I literally had no idea.
Well, if you didn't get knocked up for your 40th, we would have had a really banging party for your 40th. I'm just kidding. I'm cheating. When
my 40th though, actually that one was fun because I got to do like we had multiple days that we did stuff. Like I did something with Ash and Holly, and then I did stuff with you guys, and anyways, like that one was super fun too because that was like really small and intimate.
Yeah.
But
I'm just teasing. Yeah. We were going to have this like bang up party for Tara, but Briggs was going to be like 6 weeks old, and we we're like, who wants to have like this huge surprise party when they're like 6 weeks postpartum?
We ended up being in a Nashville and stuff.
Well, and then Briggs ended up coming early, and then he had this hospital stay, and we're just like, you know what? Let's tone this down a bit.
We were going to do Anju Above, that like room. Yeah, and we were going to have like this whole. It was also like COVID was a thing.
Oh yeah, that's right, because it was 2020. Okay, we'll end on this one. Where do I just go? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Have you ever called someone or left a voicemail by accident?
For sure.
Well, back in the day.
So this one, I had gone, this was when I was still single. I was hanging out with Holly with her friends in Chicago, and she wanted me to meet one of her guy friends. And so we were there, hung out with him. He was very nice, all this kind of stuff. And as we were walking back to the car, she's like, what do you think? And I was like, he was nice, but I don't feel like he's my type, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't say anything like mean or whatever, but somehow she managed to call him, like butt dial him while we're walking to the car, and left him a voicemail, and the whole thing was on there.
No.
That's so like unrealistic.
Like, what are the odds? Like she got in the car, and then she was like, what in the world? Like, how in the world did I, So then she's like, is there any way I can erase it? And I'm like, how do you erase a voicemail you left on someone's cell phone? Oh my gosh. So I was like, well, it's safe to say he now knows that I'm not interested, but yes.
Hilarious.
But yeah, it captured our entire conversation.
I'm sure that has happened, but I legit can't remember anything.
The worst one for me was a text, and I was like a senior in high school, and I really liked this guy. He'll never hear this podcast, so it doesn't really matter whether or not I say his name, but he was like talking, I feel like, to a couple girls at the same time, or like I had thought that he liked me, or like I was interested in him, and I had accidentally texted him instead of about him and said, yeah, he's such a player. And the hilarious part was I tried to play it off to him, but clearly like there was just no way of like making it seem like that was an accident. And the next day we were walking together to Bible class, and he was like, so I'm a player, huh? And he like brought it up to me in person, and I was like, I want to die. It was like the worst feeling ever. because one, it was so incredibly mean of me to say that behind his back, and two, it was probably because I was just jealous because he was like showing another girl attention, and I was like, and then the fact that he waited to not respond and say it to me in person made it even more awkward, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Plus we were really, really good friends, like we were buddies at the time, and so it was like so mortifying that I had like said it, and I probably hurt his feelings. And so all in all, I was like spiraling the rest of the day. It's like, oh my gosh, no. Oh, it was horrible. But anyways, we ended up laughing about it, and he was fine. And I tried to make it seem like it wasn't, it wasn't about him. And he was like, I mean, don't like stop lying. Really got me.
Oh, well, on that note, Whit has to get to worship audition. So we need to wrap it up.
Yep.
Also, the air conditioning guy is calling me. I'm very scared. Okay. All right, guys, that concludes this episode of Sisterhood Society podcast. Thank you for joining us for another episode. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or if you are a YouTube watcher, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube channel, or not a YouTube channel, a YouTube account. So go ahead and subscribe. If you listen to Apple, it helps us out a lot. That is all we have for you guys this week. We will see you in the next one. We love you and goodbye.